Ever wondered what that little hole at the top of your sink is for? There can be 1, 2, or 3 of them, depending on the design. These holes may appear under the near rim facing the mirror. They may face forward if they're between the faucet valves. The holes are there to prevent an overflow and to allow air in the drain to circulate. If the hole wasn't there, a basin filled with water would drain slowly because of the resistance it puts on the air going out of the drain. Your bathtub also has this hole, but the kitchen sink doesn't. A bathtub takes longer to fill, so you may get distracted, walk away, and forget you're filling the tub, so it's kind of more necessary there. The kitchen sink has overflow protection in the shape of the divider between the 2 standard basins, and this divisor rises lower than the rim. The majority of hiking backpacks have a secret feature that can literally save your life. If you have one, take a closer look at its chest strap. You'll see there's a built-in whistle on its buckle. It's for situations where you're all alone, stuck somewhere while hiking, or you were in a group but eventually separated from them. Uh-oh! Not all backpacks have a whistle, but those modern ones, designed specifically for mountain biking, hiking, snowboarding, skiing, and other similar outdoor activities do. Now, speaking of backpacks, many brands have standard models that come with a patch sewn into the outer part in the shape of a diamond. We call this the lash tab, or as some say, pig snouts. Originally, the manufacturers came up with this feature so people could carry an ice axe during mountaineering. They made it from leather because they wanted to reduce the possibility of freezing. Of course, the average backpacker doesn't go on such adventures, but the patch is still useful because you can hold and immediately access some items like headphones or a bottle of water, or tie your hiking shoes and some other essential things so you have more room inside your backpack. So, why do shopping carts have a grid system instead of being solid? There could be a couple of reasons for that. Manufacturers use less metal, so a cart is both lighter and cheaper. Also, the supermarket staff can see what's in your cart more easily. It's easier to keep the cart clean this way, too. Imagine if it was sealed and somebody spilled orange juice or milk inside of it. It's easier for a cart to drain this way if it's outside in the rain. Speaking of holes, why do you think laundry baskets often have holes? It's for the laundry inside to breathe. If you use it for dirty laundry, it's harder to vent the sealed basket and prevent your laundry from mildewing. Also, baskets without vents harbor way more static electricity. Have you noticed there's a funky little loop on your ski glove? Yup, the one on the finger. These gloves are specifically made for snowboarding, skiing, or some other alpine uses. Because of the loops on the finger, you can hang your gloves on the pack using a carabiner. Face their opening down, and gloves won't fill with any debris or snow while you're hiking or participating in some other winter activities, like falling and rolling down the hill, like what I tend to do. Now, even if you're not a professional alpine climber or something like that, it can still be good for you to use so-called carabiner clasps. With them, you can dry the gloves with the fingers upward. That way, if there's any condensation, it won't pull in the fingers but roll out the bottom. You know those silica gel packets that come with new bags, shoes, and many other products? Think twice before you throw them away. You might want to keep them because they preserve the freshness of your shoes or some other product you got them with. These bags are like a drying agent since they drive the moisture out of their surroundings. You can use them for other things, like, for instance, when you need to dry out your phone or something else that got water in the wrong place. Now, when dealing with a stapler, you can accidentally staple pages you didn't really want to put together. It's not easy to remove them unless you use a simple trick. Pay attention to the front part of your stapler. See that metal plate over there? It's called the anvil. Turn your stapler upside down. This way, you can spin the wheel to the temporary staple option, so it won't be so hard to remove the pins. Yup, the anvil is there, so you can adjust the settings for the stapler. Now, we're so used to toothpaste being multicolored that we mostly don't even wonder why it's so. Well, back in the 1970s, people became more aware of how important dental hygiene is. They wanted their toothpaste to do more than simply clean their teeth. That's why Aquafresh was the first company that came up with a toothpaste that had ingredients for mouthwash too, which is the blue stripe. Later on, they added red, which represents ingredients that help you take care of your gums. Aluminum foil boxes have a feature we can truly call hidden. It's not like anyone bothers to take a close look at the side of the box, right? There are rounded perforations you can punch through with your fingers. Just press your finger into the resulting hole and hold it. That's how you secure the cardboard roll while pulling out a foil. Beanie pom-poms look like a cute, or ugly if you're not a fan, ball on the top of your hat. It may not have a specific purpose today, but it hasn't always been a fashion detail. One of the possible explanations says that beanies are something the Vikings invented because they were looking for a way to keep their ears warm throughout the long cold winters. After some time, they added pom-poms at the top too. They were supposed to prevent the seams from coming apart. Now, I'm guessing the traditional horns were added sometime after that. You can find a tomato pin cushion for pins and needles in many households. But check this strawberry dangling from the top. It's kind of weird considering this fruit doesn't grow on tomatoes. But in this context, strawberries are there for needles you're using at the moment so you don't get lost while searching through a bunch of other needles on a cushion. Take a look at the cap on top of your toothpaste tube or a cream. This pointed cone you see inside the cap is helpful when you're opening a new tube because you can use it to puncture the seal. Yup, no need to look for something sharp or use your nails. Is there a pattern of blue and white bristles on your toothbrush? Sure, it looks a bit more stylish like this, but this feature has an actual purpose. Manufacturers designed the blue dye to wear off. This mostly happens at the same time when you're supposed to be getting a new toothbrush. They recommend doing it every 3 to 4 months, but in case you forget, it can be a handy reminder. Many cars have black dots along the window edges. It's a cool design, true, but car manufacturers probably wouldn't spend so much of their money and time adding something that didn't have a practical use. These dots are something we call Fritz, which are different than Fritz, the German guy. When the temperature in your car reaches extreme fluctuations, the Fritz are there to make sure the rim of the glass doesn't shatter. Good idea. Gas cans have a very small second hole. It's there to prevent some sort of the glug that occurs when air gets sucked into the hole as you pour the liquid out of it. Because when something like this happens, the flow of liquid is not even, which means more of it will end up all over the floor. The hole is also there to help vent the gas and prevent the can from bursting in between uses, and that's a good idea too. Meet A. I'm guessing from Canada, eh? Just kidding. Now, A enjoys long walks on the beach. Oh, sorry, got the wrong script. Just a second. Let me find the correct one. Here it is. Meet A, still from Canada. A enjoys long walks down the chips aisles in the supermarket. Well, that's curious. But okay then. A also loves digging the internet to find out the original purposes of everyday objects. So let's get to it. Now, have you ever wondered what those square patches attached to certain models of backpacks are for? They may look aesthetically pleasing, but that's not their only function. Actually, these little patches, also known as lash tabs, pig snouts, and hauling loops, wow, were designed for people to hang any number of things on them. Say you're going camping, or better yet, glamping, and you take your backpack with you. Well, you can use the embroidered 4-sided patch to hang on a pair of ropes, a hanger with your wet swimsuit during a hike, or you can even hang your shoes by the laces and carry them floppily around. Is that really a word? It is. The little holes on the sides of your shoes are not only there to reduce the smell of your feet sweat. They were actually designed for people with narrower feet. This way, the shoelace can be tied passing through this hole and adjust better to more narrow feet. In any case, you can always try to pass your lace through there if you want to give an impression of having narrower feet. Now, back to A. It's time for A's favorite moment of the week, A trip to the supermarket to buy some potato chips. What, no poutine? If you've ever tried making crispy curved chips in your home oven, you probably had a confusing experience, to say the least. Even if we cut them extra thin, put the right amount of oil and the exact amount of salt, well, they still come out looking mushy, overbaked, and never shaped like Pringles. The truth is, it takes a little extra something to make chips exactly like the ones we buy in stores. According to chips experts, potato chip design was something that was carefully studied and researched before they achieved the ideal formula. For starters, that curvy shape we consciously and unconsciously associate with chips has an incredible scientific name – hyperbolic paraboloid. I came down with that once, but I took something and got better. This shape was believed to prevent some of the chip's biggest problems. First, they would break down into pieces once put into a bag, and second, they would become stale after a few days inside a packet. And this is where the famous curvy shape helps out. Cardboard boxes have waves inside their walls that give them the structure they need to carry heavy objects inside. We can notice a similar science in architecture, where domes and arches are used to provide strength and structure to a building. Well, this is exactly the mindset behind curvy chips. Speaking of chips, we're in a crunch here, so let's move on. Permanent markers. As the name suggests, these are the type of markers that leave a permanent stain on whatever it is they touch. Say you used a permanent marker, thinking it was a regular marker, and you drew all over a whiteboard. No, that wasn't me. Really? Well, I didn't throw you don't need to throw the board out the window or into the nearest trash can. There's still a way to salvage it. The ink is not that permanent after all. Get a normal marker and draw all over the traces of the permanent marker. You can create little circles around what you've previously drawn. No worries about ruining what you drew now. Let it sit for a while so that the ink of the impermanent marker blends in with the ink of the permanent one. It so happens that the normal marker's ink contains a solvent that dissolves the pigment from the permanent marker's ink. Now grab a paper towel, rub it off, and it's clean again. Have you ever noticed that most pieces of clothing you buy come with tiny patches of fabric and sometimes even a button or two? Well, the buttons we know are used to replace the ones that usually do fall off. Clumsy me. And the tiny patches can be used to fix up any rips or holes that we eventually make. These tiny patches of cloth also serve to test what kind of washing is more suitable for that specific piece of clothing. Most sports courts in the US have a tiny little door on one of their sides. They come in all different shapes and sizes, but one thing's for sure, it's too small for a regular-sized human. And we don't often see pets coming in and out of there either. It turns out that these doors were designed for the caretakers of the court. This way, anything that is swiped off the court's floor can be easily disposed of without having to cross the entire court to reach the entrance. Batteries. Most of us spend hours trying to figure out if they still have any juice in them or not. And if the putting it on the remote and seeing if the TV turns on trick isn't working for you anymore, try this. Grab several batteries and drop them on a smooth surface from a relatively short height. Pay close attention to which batteries will bounce and which ones will not. It is important that you drop them in an upright position. Now, if there still is some juice left, the battery shouldn't bounce as much since it will still be a little heavy. If it bounces too much, you already know it's empty or depleted. And what about those classic salt and pepper containers we see at least once a day, every day, in restaurants, diners, and our grandma's house? It's usually difficult to get the content out of them, and yet people still love to keep them around. Next time, instead of shaking your entire arm really hard to try and get some salt out of the container, try rubbing the bottom of one container with the bottom of the other one. Grab the salt, for instance, hold it with the bottom downwards. Now, with the pepper shaker in an upright position, Rub the two bottoms together, creating circular friction between them. The salt will flow out of the shaker effortlessly. Amazing, right? Now, have you ever noticed how sometimes the signal blinker inside your car starts blinking hectically? No, it's not a design error. In case this happens, make sure to check your bulbs. Maybe one of them is burnt, and your car is just trying to call your attention to this fact. Make sure you do this before you're pulled over in the middle of the night and have to pay that huge fine. Ooh, did you know that the little flaps on each side of the top of the juice box are there for a very specific purpose? They were actually designed to hold the boxes. This way, they would avoid overall squeezing and making a mess on the lunch table. Now, think of that hot summer day. After spending the day in the sea or immersed in your backyard pool, you are in dire need of a refreshing drink. If you kept any mason jars hidden in your cupboards, now is the time to take them out. If you own a blender with a screw on the bottom, this will work out just fine. Pro tip for you: mason jars can actually be screwed onto your blender. So this way, you can mix that delicious fruit juice or smoothie directly into your mason jar. For this, you'd have to take the blender's mouth out and then screw it directly into the mason jar before screwing it into your blender. Now press the smoothie function and enjoy all those nutrients. Some plastic milk cartons have an indentation on them that is sort of an upgrade from the traditional paper cartons. This circular indentation near the base is there for a reason. Oh my, what could that be? Well, firstly, the indentation will pop outwards in case the milk has gone bad. So, no more drinking spoiled milk for you. Secondly, if you drop the milk on the floor, it will help to absorb some impact, reducing the risk of the bottle bursting open. Neat, right? Well, that's all I've got for this one. I do recommend you give these a try and tell us all about it in the comments below.